Woo! What's going on, guys? Holmes coming at you today with a video, and I'm continuing my Detroit Lions draftees on who they picked a couple weeks ago. I got 3 of them out now. Here's the 4th one. 7 of these to do. The Lions did draft guard Miles Frazier out of the LSU Tigers in the 5th round at 171st overall. The Lions moved up again for a guard, exchanged a 6th and a 7th round pick to get this massive guard. Holmes isn't playing around when he was coming around to his decision on to work the trenches this year, and he went for it. 3 out of the 4 picks, 3 of the first 4 picks of this draft, he went inside trenches, getting a defensive tackle and then 2 guards. Threw that wide receiver in the middle there as well. This kid's 23 years old, about 6'5" and change, 325 pounds. Played 5 years in college. He started his collegiate career at FIU, Florida International University, home of the Panthers, Florida International University Panthers. Played 2 years there and then 3 years entered the transfer portal and then got 3 years at LSU as an LSU Tiger. You're getting a pretty, you're getting an extremely versatile player. 2 years at left tackle at FIU, played strictly left tackle there, and then played up and down the line at LSU. Settled out right guard the last couple years, played right guard and right tackle as well. Did not play center. I don't think in any games. If he got into some games at center, I never seen it, or never heard about it, or it wasn't written out there. So he's a versatile guy. The only position he hasn't played on the line is center. But apparently, I'm hearing some things that maybe the Lions are going to just have him take some snaps at center to see where he's at with that. And I guess they're doing the same thing with Ratledge. I think they're really trying to find Ragnow's eventual replacement. So I think, we don't know how long Frank the Tank's got. But his breakdown of stats in 5 years, or starts in 5 years for Miles Frazier. This is 5 years, okay? 5 years in college. Two at FIU, like I said, and then 3 more at LSU. So this breakdowns, he had left tackle. He had 11 starts at left tackle for the Panthers and at FIU. Right tackle, only 2. He had only 2 starts. LSU, 1 start in the Texas Bowl last year in 2024, because the Texas Bowl, they had like the new thing, well, pretty much is a lot of these players sit out these bowls now because they're draft eligible. They don't want to get hurt or anything like that, lose stock or plethora of things, lose money. Basically, a lot of these guys just sit out. And he went and started over at right tackle, Miles Frazier, in that Texas Bowl game. Center, 0. And then right guard, 27 starts, the most he's ever played. And then left guard, he had 10 starts as well. So his main position was right guard at 27 starts. Left tackle too, back as a Panther, not as an LSU Tiger, and some left guard as well. Not very much right tackle, but played a couple games there. Started a couple of games. Gave up 4 sacks at LSU in 3 years. 0 in 2024. Gave up like 19 pressures in like 5 years. The guy's a very good elite. I would even put him in almost the elite category as in pass blocking. Decent run blocker, but he can pass block with the best of them. I think why he dropped, not 100% sure. But the depth chart. Let's talk about the depth chart with the Lions. The guards, the tackles, the centers. You guys all know I did this with Tate Ratledge as well. The left guard position right now is Mahogany, you got Glasgow, you got Coyote Iwasika, and then center, Ragnow, Michael Neese, Kingsley Aguakin, a guy that was kind of one of the undrafted free agents that the Lions brought in last year and paid him a little bit of money to stick around, and he stuck around. He didn't dress for any games, I don't think. And then they brought in UDFA, a rookie, Leaf Fotanu, a guy that I think he went to Arizona State. I'm gonna have to check that out. A smaller center, barely 300 pounds, if that, but a very good one. But a very good center, but just didn't get drafted, I think, just because of his size. He's a smaller center. And then the right guard situation right now looks like rookie Tate Ratledge, obviously the second round pick, then rookie Miles Frazier, and then Date Mutai, then right tackle Penei Sewell, Dan Skipper, Colby Sorzel, and then a rookie undrafted free agent Mason Miller, then left tackle Taylor Decker, Giovanni Manu, and then Jamarco Jones. Now, what we're going to see here, in my opinion, are the Lions going to want to go really young at the left guard position, at the overall guard position, left guard and right guard? You know, you got Mahogany over there who looked good in 2 starts, small sample size. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Glasgow's still sticking around, I think. And then you got Cody Iwasika, who's actually had some spot starts as well. And then you got the right guard spot. You got Tate Ratledge and you got Miles Frazier right there backing him up. Now, I think it's going to be a four-man race. You know, you're not going to do a rotation. You don't see many rotations on the offensive line because you want that continuity. You want that chemistry built up. You want Goff to be able to trust his guys in front of him. But I think you're going to see a 4-man battle. I think you're going to see a 4-man battle between Mahogany and Glasgow at left guard. And then you're going to see a battle between Tate Ratledge, the rookie, and the other rookie, Miles Frazier, the guy I'm talking about right now. I think that's going to be. Mutai could get in there too because he was having a good camp last year before he went down. I don't see nobody's touching Penei Sewell. Obviously, he's one of the best, if not the best offensive tackle in football. Could Dan Skipper get pushed a little bit, by Frazier? Sorsdal could be a camp casualty. He could be gone. Mason Miller, don't know much about him too. He's a UDFA rookie. Don't know too much. And the left tackle, could Giovanni Manu be pushed as well? Jamarco Jones, could he be pushed? I don't think Decker's going anywhere right now either. He's getting up there in age. Didn't have the greatest year last year, But with Frazier, I think he's going to be back. I don't think he's going to start. I don't think he's going to be a starter right away, unless he pushes Ratledge out of there. Could he do it? Maybe, but I think Ratledge is the better overall guard. Frazier's nice though. Don't get me wrong. I love his pass blocking ability. He's not a bad run blocker. I'm not saying he's a bad run blocker, but it needs to work on, I think, a little bit more. But you're getting a good player. But in a Frazier, you're getting the size, you're getting the versatility, like I keep talking about. You're getting the elite pass blocking, I think, personally. And like I said, doesn't struggle in the run blocking department, but he's just a better pass blocker. I think that's his better trait, his better weapon, or whatever you want they call it. Ratledge, I think, is a little more complete. I think he's a little more complete as a guard. Not saying Frazier can't catch him, but I think Ratledge is going to win a spot, but I think it's going to be a camp battle. And then we're going to see guys like getting pushed, Giovanni Manu. We're going to see guys like, Michael Neese at center possibly get pushed there. Kingsley Iguakan, I think, is a really good center. He was good. He was good for Florida. Never got drafted either. I was kind of shocked that he didn't get drafted. Like I said, Holmes and, Sheila Ford Hamp, they paid some money to keep him around as UDFA. And the Mahogany, I think he, his small sample size of having 2 starts last year, it's not a concern. He was great, but it was a small sample size. So you're going to see Glasgow sticking around. You might see some Iwasika sticking around. We got a lot of guards. There's going to be a lot of guards, and a couple of them are going. I think Sorsdal is gone as a tackle. And I think Giovanni Manu is going to get pushed, but I don't think he's going anywhere just quite yet. It's too early for that, but I'm not sure how much he's going to dress. And then Glasgow. I think Glasgow is going to be the ultimate backup in both guard spots. Probably the main backup to Ragnow, with Michael Neese kind of hanging around there too as well. But a lot of these guys didn't dress last year. Neese barely dressed. Kingsley Iguakan barely, I don't think, dressed once. Lee Fatanu wasn't here last year. He's a rookie. Mutai, I think, is one guy you should look out for. One is just the one guy. And right tackle, I'm not going to talk much about that. I already talked about that. And then left tackle, Giovanni Manu. And, it's interesting. I really did like the pick, though. You're getting a big, massive guard at 6'5", almost 6'6", 320 plus pounds. You have to build from the trenches. I know a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people did not like this draft. They didn't like this draft, man. There's a guy I just saw today, someone from The Athletic, some schmuck, don't know who he is, gave us an F grade. I don't know how real that is because I've never seen an F grade. And I don't think our draft was deserved an F grade. And then, people say that we just kept reaching and reaching because, we didn't have those guys on their board. And like I try to tell everybody, they don't care about your board or my board or Bucky Brooks' board or Daniel Jeremiah's board or any of those, Mel Kiper, all those guys, man. NFL GMs, it's not just Holmes, they don't give a rat's ass about yours and mine draft boards. They don't care. So I've always kind of had a thing with people saying that was a reach. I know I've used the terminology in the past. I've said it in the past, but I think I'm going to stop saying it. Because it's not a reach to them. Now, I'm not backing up every single pick and saying hero pick, phenomenal pick. I got picks that I question 100%, but the word reach, I think, needs to be abolished when it comes to draft boards. I'm done with it. I'm done with that word. I'm going to try not to say it anymore. It's starting to turn into a pet peeve of mine. All I hear, man, I go on all these Lions boards, I go on these groups, I go on these private message groups. We're all talking football, and it's just like one after the other, this guy talking about how this was a reach and how this guy would have been there. How the hell do you know that somebody would have been there? Like, how do you know? Like, Miles Frazier, I seen this guy ranked from, no word of a lie, from the number 4 guard to the number 13th guard. You know what I mean? Ranked from, he's going to be a 3rd round pick to a 6th round pick. That's where that's where the experts had him. Because I like to collect my magazines. I like to collect my magazines. I like to do my draft profiles. I'm not trying to do one now, but I like to do my draft profiles. I like to get other people's opinions. And then I like to make my own assumption. I like to make my own analysis on a player. I use magazines and I use other sites as guidelines, though. I'm not going to bullshit you. I don't pretend to be an NFL scout. I like to think that I know the game of football, but I don't pretend to be a scout. So I need help in that department. I need help in some way or another. You know what I mean? But I do know the game of football, and I do know what it takes to play the game. But I'm not a professional scout. So if I'm going to come on here and say, well, that was a reach, which I might have even used in the first 3 videos that I made of maybe the Isaac Tesla video. I might have said it, but I'm getting, it's just kind of dawned on me that the word is just overused because you don't have that guy on your board. It's a reach. I find that ignorant a little bit. I find that kind of like cocky, arrogant. You know what I mean? It's like who am I to tell you that Brad Holmes reached? You know what I mean? I can dislike the pick, like I've already said, but to say it was a reach, it's obviously not a reach to him. It's always not a reach to him, and people are going to be like, well, it's a reach because one guy even told me this. I'm rambling now. I think it was, I don't know who it was about. It might have been Frazier, but I don't think it was. It wasn't about Frazier. Someone was like, I think it was about Tesla. They were like, he moved up a bunch of spots, gave up 2/3, which is crazy, for a wide receiver that nobody had on their boards. So 31 other teams didn't have him on their boards. Why do you think GMs move up? Because they obviously think that guy is going to pick that guy. These guys talk, man. Whether you want to believe it or not, these guys have ideas. They might not say, hey, I'm drafting this guy right here. But when you see teams moving up, they hear things. Like the Lions, for instance, moving up a couple spots to get Ratledge. I think they thought the Ravens were going to grab him. Why do they think the Ravens were going to grab him? They probably needed a guard. I don't know the Ravens situation, but either they got the info from somewhere or they guessed it, because that can happen too. They can maybe think this team's going to draft a guard. They need a guard. They got a guard. They got one guard on his last year of his contract. The rest are going to be gone. Two already left. Blah blah blah. This and that. Old age. Everything. So they're like, maybe the Ravens are going to draft a guard here. We got to jump them. That's why they do it. Teams don't jump player. Teams don't jump other teams because they don't think a guy's on a board. Brad Holmes went up a bunch of spots, 30-something spots or whatever it was, to go get Tesla because he thought someone was going to grab him, or he was just simply falling in love with the guy. But he was definitely on someone's board. Now, who knows if it would have been the third, fourth, fifth? Who knows? But I rambled on and I talked about something I should have talked about because this is a Miles Frazier video, but this is what I do. I ramble. I ramble. And I think it's whatever it is, man. It's I get a little carried away sometimes. But hey, Miles Frazier in the building, guys. We're getting bottom line, we're getting a versatile old lineman that can play pretty much anywhere on the line. I think they're going to give him some reps at center. He didn't really do it at LSU or Florida International as a Panther. He did not do that. Center was kind of off limits or whatever it was. But he's a versatile, big, massive offensive guard that can play tackle in a pinch, and he's done it. Played left tackle at first, right tackle, left guard, right guard. That's what he is, man. He's more of a right guard, and we'll see. He's projected to be a right guard, but projections mean nothing too. They mean nothing too. Just like rankings, just like draft boards, just like anything. Okay, guys, that's it, man. That's it. This video went on way too long. My bad. I'm sorry. I just had to get that off my chest. But thanks a lot, guys. What do you think about Miles Frazier in the building? We got two big guards, two rookies. Holmes going young. You got to work the trenches. You got to build for the future, and it starts right there with those guys right there on the interior. I like it, man. I think it's a solid pick, man. Miles Frazier at LSU. What do you guys think? Don't forget to subscribe on the bottom right. Don't forget the notification bell up top. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Thanks a lot, guys. Detroit versus everybody. Grit. Let's go. Bang. Season coming up, man.